pointing to the fact that the urban poor are heading for tougher times since their source of living has been destroyed. Development experts say that Uganda needs to isolate its key priorities and allocate funds to those respective sectors that can stimulate growth. One argument put forward is that Uganda needs to deal away with the current centralized system that gives a few individuals the mandate to plan and take decisions. Proponents of this argument believe that the above challenges will be effectively addressed by taking a regional approach in resource allocation and setting priorities. The NRM government has repeatedly accused the opposition of ignoring their mandate of providing alternative policies and instead focusing on political and a violent approach in handling national issues. So as part of our efforts to break this blame game, we will provide a weekly platform through which we will task the opposition to provide alternative policies in connection with issues that will emerge. Our guest tonight, President of the Uganda Federal Alliance, Honorable Bettie Namisango. You're most welcome, Madam Kamya.
Thank you, Edmund. And may I take this occasion to say good evening to listeners. It's been a long time, but always a pleasure to be here.
Well, of course, it's good to have you back here. Let's start from the start. How did we get here?
How did we get here? As in Uganda, it's a long story. It didn't start this year, as many people want to think. It didn't even start last year. It started a long time ago. And in my opinion, the mismanagement of the economy is almost as old as NRM, right? Because I can think of several reasons why we are here, how we got, perhaps that will answer how we got here. One, and many people have said it, I'm not saying anything new here, borrowing. You cannot live on borrowing. I spent 5 years in Parliament, and every week we passed a loan, or a loan was brought. Government asked us to borrow money. And one time I stood up and I asked, I said, you've got to treat this country like your personal business or your personal life. Can you borrow? Your wife needs a shoe, you borrow. Your daughter needs a hanky, you borrow. Your son needs a shirt, you borrow. Your dog needs a bone, you borrow. I mean, you cannot just live on borrowing all your life. This is what is happening in Uganda. On top of, I mean, you crash in your own family. You crash if you borrow for everything. Two, you cannot not manage foreign currency. I think it's only in Uganda where, we do get a lot of money, foreign currency. Because government reads to us every year that activities that bring in foreign currency are very high on the money makers of this country. Tourism is perhaps number 2, revenue earner. Revenue earner number 1 is VAT. That is local currency.
Yes, local.
Revenue earner number 2 is tourism. That is dollars. Actually, I think the other year it was about $800 million, which if you put in Uganda shillings is close to 1.8 trillion Uganda shillings, which was almost a third of the budget of the year before this one. So if almost a third of the budget comes from one activity, tourism, and it is in dollars, the other activity is cheyo. The Ugandans working abroad, sending in money. That is activity revenue earner number 3. They also bring in dollars. Activity number 4 also brings in dollars. That's export of coffee and fish and other things. So half the revenue that we get in here is actually forex. But what happens is that the store is open. Once we get it there, once the chair bring it there, once the tourism bring it there, once coffee brings in the dollars, then those who want it without any qualms or unabated, they just enter our treasury and take out as many dollars as they want. Free. It doesn't matter what they bring in. They can only bring, they can bring in masts, only masts if you like. Just erect masts, come in here and sell air, get money, and buy off all our dollars and take them out. I mean, that is how the dollars, the country flight is going. So I can think of many ways. Apart from that, the luxurious lifestyle. It is obscene. It is criminal. That is the only way that I can explain the lavish lifestyle of Ugandans. Ugandans live a much more expensive lifestyle than any other public servant. I was talking to an American friend, and he told me that the American government does not pay business class ticket for congressmen. If you're a public servant of that level, they pay economy ticket for you. But in Uganda, most public servants travel business class. They get first class hotels. We drive top of the range cars. I mean, look at this parliament. They want 190 million worth of cars. That's almost 50,000 pounds, for goodness sake. I was just in London recently, and cars are around 10,000. And people buying small cars, which mindful of fuel consumption, but Ugandans want the biggest cars, most expensive cars. So the lifestyle, all those things put together, plus of course the amount of money that was poured. The amount of money that was poured in this country during the campaign was just the dry grass that is used to scratch and already boil,
Right.
ready to
balance
burst, ready to burst. That's what happened. That's what I would call the
straw that broke the camel's back.
straw that broke the camel's back. It was already going to happen, and we've been building towards that. So you asked, how did we get here?
Right.
The story started a long time ago.
Okay, of course, this is a syndrome. When a patient has many signs of sickness, they call it a syndrome. We have high inflation. We have a weak shilling. We have scarcities of commodities. We have sugar, we have beef, charcoal, and other commodities, leading to high prices. We're having strikes. They're all economic problems. How can we get out of them?
Most of those are consequences. And we have a problem of dealing with consequences in Uganda.
Yes.
We need to deal with the problems, or to analyze the problem first, and the cause of the problem, then we can deal with the consequences. If you go straight to the consequence, the cause will continue to churn out those consequences.
Yes.
So inflation is a consequence of all these things that we talked about. Plus, I forgot to say, this is not a production economy. This is a speculative economy.
True, largely, yes.
You are not, wealth means you take a hole, dig in the soil, and get out a potato.
Yes.
Or get a piece of clay, put it together, and take out a product. But that's not what's happening. Not just in Uganda, actually in the whole world. You can just sit on your computer and bam, you're a millionaire tomorrow.
Yes.
You know, you can just put on your Bettie, on your Namisango, bam, tomorrow.
Yes.
You make a lot of money. So we need to go back to production of wealth, not just service industries. And it's a problem in the whole world that the service industry is, in most economies, 75% of GDP.
Yes. Developed economies.
Developed economies. And they also pay the price. It's not as if they're not paying the price. It's not production. You know, somebody will sit on their computer and give you homework, your child homework, and send it online. You know, talking to about 10,000 kids online, and the following day you get a lot of money. And once you know how to do this, there's no reason for anybody to take a hoe and produce wealth, or go in the industry and produce a cup. So the fact that it's no longer a production economy, but a service economy and a speculative economy, that also has a lot to do with the state of the economy.
Listeners, this is Spectrum on Radio 1 tonight. What alternatives can the opposition offer to deal with current challenges the country is facing? What we are doing is a part of efforts to break a blame game where the government blames the opposition for not really providing solutions. We are calling all the opposition leaders to give us solutions. There are alternative policies that will get this country out of the deep troubles that it's facing. One of them, high inflation. Two, a weak shilling. Scarcities that have led to high prices, of course, feeding into inflation. And strikes. Teachers, traders, doctors, lecturers, and other people going on strike, saying their shilling, the value of the salaries they get, has been eroded and the need rises, which the government cannot afford. One of them are the teachers. They want a 100% pay rise, you know, up from something like 270,000 shilling. The government says it can't afford 100%. It is only offering about 60% over a 3-year period. So those are the kind of the gaps that we're facing. Guest tonight is Honorable Bettie Namisango, the President of the Uganda Federal Alliance. Honorable Kamya, I would like us to go later into the details of some of your alternative policies. But first of all, even what you've told us now and what people have said already in the public domain, is government really listening?
I don't know. I think they're caught up in their own mess. But they should be humble enough to accept that they've managed the economy and that we can work together to find a solution. And as I said, the solution begins with finding the problem and the cause of the problem, not go straight to deal with the effects and consequences. Because those things Edmund is talking about, the high inflation, the strikes, the uprisings, the grievances, all those are consequences, and they can be fixed once you find the problem and fix it. And it's not going to happen in one day, because it didn't happen in one day. It's going to take you back to where the problem started. If you can take back the loans or pay off and have shorter periods, or we need to start thinking of definitely bringing down significantly government expenditure.
Yes.
That is a very big thought. And I did mention in my manifesto that is one of the key activities that we're going to do. And I said we should have a commission actually that will look into areas of expenditure reduction. It's amazing how much is spent on trivialities and little things. I'll give you an example. We have about, and this will not sound good with the media, but it's a good example.
Yes.
We have about 10 public holidays. There's New Year's Day, Christmas, Easter.
About 10 actually.
About 10.
Yes.
On each of those New Year's Day, each government ministry and department puts an advert congratulating the president. And they're the same words.
Yes.
Really.
Yes.
The Ministry of Agriculture, the minister and the deputy minister and would like to congratulate His Excellency the President, His Excellency the Vice President, the Speaker of Parliament, the Cabinet Minister, the MPs on this or special occasion when we celebrate. So one ministry puts that advert in about 5 papers.
Maybe 3 newspapers.
No,
Go on.
more than that.
All right.
And then there are about 60 ministries. And of course, all public, all government departments they put in. So that is 10 events times 5 media. And of course, there's, you know how it costs? What it costs?
It does cost a bit of money.
It does cost a bit of money. Then on Christmas, on Eid, every public person sends about 10,000 cards. Even to people, when I was in Parliament, I received almost 10,000 cards from everybody. I mean, they just have a mailing list of anybody who is anybody.
Well, but some of the things you're pointing out, are very, very small.
They're not small. They're not small. Just put them together. They add up. Look at the cars, the everything, the travel. They're not small. And in their wisdom, the English say, it's the pennies, count your pennies, and the dollars will look after themselves.
Right.
So it's really the pennies that we have to count for. So there's so much wastage in this country that we need to get down to the nitty-gritty of how much we can, tighten our belts.
All right. We'll get back to the nitty-gritty. If this situation continues, supposing it does continue unabated, what can we expect?
I don't know. We'll crash.
How do you mean?
Definitely. I think maybe the government will just hang up the jackets and run because I don't know. I can't see. Unless they take drastic measures, really drastic measures of saying we'll cancel, we'll put a stop to every unnecessary expenditure. We'll go back. The hearing will take a while. The hearing will not happen in just 3 months because it's taken a long time
to get here.
But what must happen, if you get pricked by a thorn, you must take out that thorn and then start nursing the wound. That's what it will take. You must get to the bottom of the matter, take out the thorn, and start healing. Then the wound will start healing. That means every extravagant, and in my opinion, given the extravagance that we have, if we worked on that alone, we wouldn't even need the 30% budget support from donors.
You think we are wasteful to that extent?
We are wasteful to that extent. If we worked on that extravagance, we would not need the 30 or 40% budget support that we carry a basket around every to the donor community.
All right, talk to us about the system.
Workshops, seminars, it's incredible. You can't just live off the workshops and seminars.
Right.
You get about 10, I used to get about, I still do, a minimum of 5 invitations to attend workshops in Kampala. And on each one of them there's a transport refund.
Oh, really?
Of about 100,000. So you can jump from workshop to workshop to workshop.
And you earn a living.
And you earn a living. Free, wonderful meals, great atmosphere, and then you take home 100,000 if you like. If you attend 3 workshops a day, 300,000. It's crazy.
Let's look at the systemic changes that one can make to get us out of this drama.
Sorry, I didn't get
How
that.
can we restructure this economy if we really do need to get out? It might not take 6 months, but how can we restructure our economy? Stop and then find a new direction. What would we do?
We just said that, Edmund. The obvious things that we need to do.
Well, I mean, you're talking about the demand side, cutting our expenditure. How about creating value, for instance, and how we structure the economy?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with mindset. Our young people or people that are looking for jobs on the streets, they need to be educated that jobs is more than just going to Edmund and asking to employ you and give you a salary. Actually, recently I was talking to someone, or I was listening to someone, and someone said, never say that I don't have capital. Because capital is your brain. If you say I don't have capital, actually what you're saying is that I don't have a brain.
Go on.
And it made a lot of sense to me. Because there's so many things that one can do if they just put some pressure on their brains to work. So we need complete overhaul of the mindset of work. Kids sit at home watching TV, asking their dads when vacancy or their mamas to look for a job. Looking for a job means that you go to get someone to ask you to go to his office. The same kids will get their mothers to hire someone to slash the compound, to wash the car, to
Cook the food.
To cook the food even, There's so much work that can be, it's about the mindset. So I think it'll go a long way. As I said, there are no quick fixes to this problem. The quick fixes will be mainly on the public expenditure.
Reducing expenditure.
Yes, reducing public expenditure.
How about raising production?
That will be a quick fix. Raising production is slightly, it could. It's like, because production.
Because you have two sides. You have the demand side.
It also goes with marketing, with the sales. And people have got to have the purchasing power. It's not like you raise production and then the purchasing power will be there. Or even if you're thinking of selling your product abroad, you have to gain expertise and proficiency in moving the product from Uganda to an outside market and be competitive. It does take a while, but we have got to start building it now. So I really think that we need to sit down and open up this whole thing, open up this whole market. It is so closed.
How about the population? The president wants a big population, but I've been looking at some figures. Spain has an economy bigger than Africa. It has as many people as Tanzania, and we think with more people. It's not even one of the top 10 world economies. Libya has 6 million people. It earns $140 million a day. They have oil to last them 8 years. 80, that is 80. Ours lasts 25 years. We seem to be living like a rich man when we are the poorest of the poor. How can we restructure? How does population fit into this?
The population is relative. It has to have the propensity to consume. A population that doesn't have the propensity to consume is like no population at all. Because
a poor population cannot drive an economy.
You cannot drive an economy. If you have, I always think, a plate of food, say in Serena, costs 50,000. Thereabouts. Downtown in Chikuvo, you might get a plate now at 2,000.
Oh, really?
So one Mzungu who goes to Sheraton or one Edman who goes to Serena is equivalent to 25 Ugandans who go to Chikuvo. And to every 25 Ugandans who can afford a meal of 2,000, there are another 25 who cannot even afford
or even more
a meal. So it's important to work on the quality of the population.
Since Spectrum on Radio 1, we're going for a break. When we come back, we'll hear from Honorable Kamya what exactly this government can do after winning an election in February to get us out of this mess. Do stay tuned.
Let's show you how to multiply your savings, starting with the cash beneath the mattress to the savings in the bank that aren't making money. Let's turn your savings into something with Super Save Reloaded. Super Save Reloaded brings you savings and investment accounts which offer you a sure and predictable way to multiply your savings. For more information about Super Save Reloaded, ask at your nearest Stanbic Bank branch. Stanbic Bank. Moving forward.
Mommy, Daddy, when it's time for us to go back to school, don't hassle yourself. That's just not cool. There's an easier way for you to pay. Move on with MTN mobile money today.
Wow! Listen, I think I will try MTN mobile money too. It is so fun and easy and really convenient too.
Dad, stop laughing. But seriously, stop. So embarrassing.
When you move on with MTN Mobile Money, your children can move on to greater things. So, be one of the 100 people to win 100,000 shillings towards your next school shopping when you pay school fees with MTN Mobile Money. MTN, everywhere you go.
So class, we learned today that there is Blue Band original for spreading, cooking and baking, and the new Blue Band spread for bread, which is specially formulated for good. Some people want the Blue Band original for spreading, cooking and baking. We know others want the new Blue Band spread for bread, specially formulated for and that is even good. We now have Blue Band original for spreading, cooking and baking, and the new Blue Band spread for bread for
Blue Band now gives you a choice. Blue Band original for spreading, cooking and baking, and new Blue Band spread for bread, which is specially formulated for spreading, making it more affordable.
Therefore, if you have the new Blue Band spread for bread and you spread it on the bread, that means you are doing what? Yes, spreading.
Blue Band Daily Grow. Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90 is brought to you by Stanbic Bank.
Welcome back, and on Spectrum tonight, what alternatives can the opposition offer to deal with current challenges the country is facing? Our guest is Honorable Bettie Namisango, President of the Uganda Federal Alliance. You'll be able to call in and ask a question, so contribute generally to this discussion. Honorable, let's talk about the current. Is the government giving it enough priority, and how can it how can it be boosted? And how will it contribute to it was given the money it needs?
Of course, it's not given the money it needs, and for that matter, no sector is given the money it needs. Not health, not education, and they're related, if you like, not trade and tourism or trade and marketing. You know, they are all related, and they need to be given coordinated attention. People remember in the past when agriculture was the mainstay of this country.